Welcome to another episode of Geeks Corner. Since our last episode, a lot has happened in the jailbreaking world. We saw a jailbreak released by Coolstar and the Electra team, and that was actually covering all devices on iOS 11.2 to 11.3.1. And then yesterday, Coolstar actually tweeted out for everybody to be able to get onto iOS 11.4 Beta 3. As they said, they actually had an exploit coming for that as well. And Beta 3 was actually being signed. Now it turns out that Beta 3 was actually being signed for iPhone 7, 7 Plus, iPhone 8 and iPhone 8 Plus as well. So for users who weren't on iOS 11.3, they could actually get the 11.4.1. Now since then, there has been people saying that they're unable to get it, so we're not too sure if Apple actually stopped signing this new beta. However, if you're on a higher firmware, so 11.4.1 or 11.4, it's definitely worth checking out because 11.4 and 11.4.1 are still being signed, so you're not going to miss anything by trying to get it. Anyway, if you're on iOS 11.3 or lower, then there's no need to update because obviously a beta is not as stable as a fully released iOS version. And then a few hours later, or not even really, probably about an hour, Coolstar then released the jailbreak tool for the Beta 3 version as well of 11.4. So that was big news. It's been one of the first times in a long time that there was still a firmware still being signed that was jailbreakable. There are still rumours that there is 11.4 and iOS 12 exploit that can be used. Hopefully they'll hold that off until iOS 12 is out so they can see whether or not the exploit has been closed. Now it's only a few months until iOS 12 comes out, so it's not really a massive wait. We waited much longer than that, and if it does turn out that this exploit has been patched in iOS 12, then obviously they can release for 11.4. We have all the links and we have some guides on our website geekscorner.co.uk, and with the permission we actually have the signed version on there as well, so you can actually download it all from our website directly on your device without the need for a computer. So make sure you check that out. We've got all credits on our website for those that signed it as well, so definitely worth checking that out, guys. Now, sticking on the iOS scene, Apple actually released iOS 11.4.1 to the public yesterday. There's also been watch releases as well as Apple TV releases, and most of them are generally bug fixes. The major change in iOS 11.4.1 really is the ability to lock down the USB, which we saw in iOS 12 beta as well, so that if the device is tampered with, then cracking it is going to be a lot harder. So if it's not unlocked usually for a set amount of time, then the USB actually shuts down and only allows charging, so that stops against a lot of the brute forcing that's been used by the police as well. So that's definitely a big change and a welcome, so you don't actually have to wait until iOS 12 to get that feature. Also, LG has applied a total of 41.4% of the market share for the displays for the Apple Watch, and that's about 10.64 million AMOLED display panels. And then Samsung actually came in second at 34.8%, and Display Optronics was 16.2%, and there's a couple of other players, IO, which is 5.7%, and BOE 1.5%. So Apple's used quite a few suppliers there, and it's interesting to see that actually LG has beaten Samsung. However, Samsung obviously does make its own range of smartwatches as well, so they're not obviously going to be too hurt by this, but it's interesting to see that Apple's using other suppliers instead of the Samsung ones there. Now, on a more of a personal note, we're currently still giving away codes to Top TV for the iPhone, which allows you to watch TV channels live on your iPhone. We've got a link on our website. It's through our YouTube video, so make sure you guys check that out. We've picked 2 winners at the moment, and we've got a few codes to give away. We are going to be looking at reviewing some tweaks as well, and we'll see if the developers can give us some extra codes to give away for those in the coming weeks. Previous years, we've done some really big giveaways with tweaks. We did quite a few £100 worth on our last check-in. We haven't been personally jailbroken for some time on our personal device. However, I have had my hands on a test device for this latest jailbreak, so that will allow me to test tweaks more freely and more often, and to give you guys honest reviews whether or not the tweak is worth buying, whether it's not worth checking out as well. One of the good things about doing giveaways is obviously it raises awareness for the developers, but hopefully it stops people piloting the developers' apps with a chance of seeing how well it works, and if they don't win, then they'll actually want to buy and support the dev as well. Developers do work hard on their tweaks, so it's definitely worth checking those guys out as well. That's it for today's episode, guys. I hope you're still enjoying these. Let us know in the comments of what you think. Make sure you subscribe to us in all the major podcasting platforms. We are on Spotify as well now also. Obviously, we're on iTunes podcast as well, and a lot more. And if you have the Anchor app, make sure you leave us a voice message. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll catch you soon.